Is it time to panic with Kristaps Porzingis' injury history now that he's been ruled out against the Washington Wizards? This is the gray area right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. And you can catch me on the weekends on your home with the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers. 105.3 The Fan. The Dallas Mavericks will be without Kristaps Porzingis against the Washington Wizards. And it has Dallas Mavericks fans and those who watch and support and cover this team wonder, is it time to panic when it comes to Kristaps Porzingis and his significant injury history? Remember, this is a Kristaps Porzingis who had just come back against the Detroit Pistons after missing the previous 3 games due to a left ankle sprain suffered against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now due to right knee soreness in the same knee where his meniscus was repaired, he is now going to be out against the Washington Wizards, and we don't know the timetable for his potential return with now 10 games left in the regular season going toward the NBA playoffs. Kristaps Porzingis has only played in 40 games out of a possible 62 for the Dallas Mavericks, where they're 35-27, 16-14 at home, 19-13 on the road after their latest win against the Detroit Pistons. But this goes back to Kristaps Porzingis, who in his 40 games this season is averaging 20 points and 9 rebounds. But the best ability is availability. You say, Kevin, that's real cliche. I know. But when it comes to Porzingis, that really is what it is when it comes to his ability to be on the court and be the unicorn that we've seen him be at times with the Mavericks. His ability to shoot the ball from 35 feet from the three-point line, his ability to put the ball on the deck, his ability to be able to be a rim protector and a shot blocker. All of those things are part of what makes the 7'3" Latvian star unique in his game. But what we've seen is that the uniqueness of his game hasn't been able to be on the court as much as Maverick fans want, given the amount of money that the Mavericks have spent on him. Remember, he was the one that was traded from the New York Knicks to the Dallas Mavericks and signed a 5-year, $158 million max contract with Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks. And the return for what you have gotten so far from him at times has been absolutely incredible. I think back to the game against the New Orleans Pelicans earlier this year where Luka Doncic went off for 46 points. Kristaps Porzingis went off for 36 points for himself. The apex of what you saw from that duo. And you say, Kevin, weren't you the one that said that Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic are probably the best young duo in all the NBA, given the fact that you've got a 25-year-old Latvian star at 7'3" that can do all the things that he does, paired with a 22-year-old first-team All-NBA performer? Yeah, I was the one that said that. But that was granted that he could stay healthy on the court. That simply hasn't been the case. When you start thinking about the last several years from him, he missed the entire 2018-2019 season, of course, with the torn ACL. Then in his last three seasons that he's been active, he's played 66 games, 48 games, and 57 games. And this year so far, just 40 out of a possible 62 games that they have been able to play. So you know the concerns about Kristaps Porzingis and his injuries and whether or not he will continue to hopefully be a part of the Mavericks' future going forward. Here's Rick Carlisle talking about his concern and level of concern about Kristaps Porzingis and his injury.
Yeah, look, I have great concern this time of year when somebody has a hangnail. You know, I mean, that's the world we're living in right now with this density of games. And so, look, I think the good thing was I didn't hear anything about it at halftime. It was when he came out in the third, after a few minutes of sitting out, you know, as the quarter break was coming, Casey just let me know that he was not going to be back. And so, you know, we had to come up with, you know, obviously a different plan. But look, the level of concern is there with all our guys. And, you know, overall, KP's responded very well to any issues he's had with that knee. And so we'll hope for the best. We'll hope it's a short-term thing and hope for the best.
Now, look, Rick Carlisle says at this point of the year, we're all concerned about everything when it comes to players and their injuries, with the compressed schedule, with the travel, with the amount of games and back-to-backs that these teams have played. Injuries have taken their toll across the NBA. But this one is unique to Porzingis because it isn't just about the compressed schedule. It isn't just about the amount of back-to-backs. This isn't just about all the things that you've seen from the NBA this season. This is about the fact that he has dealt with heel soreness in the past, the fact that he has dealt with a meniscus tear, an ACL tear, a left ankle sprain. He's gone through previous, obviously, injury recovery and management, load management, all of these things to try and protect a player who seems to be fragile when it comes to being on the court and his availability to stay on the court. So that begs the question, is it time to panic when it comes to Kristaps Porzingis and his injury? I won't say panic, but you're getting close. The amount of games that he continues to miss, paired with the uber frustration that you've seen from him at times defensively this year, where his movements have been limited due to some of the knee soreness, is concerning. You say, Kevin, well, he did come back early, it appeared, from a meniscus tear, given the amount of time that the NBA had in between the previous season and the start of this year. He had the meniscus surgery, tried to get back as quickly as possible, came back in January, but then we come to find out he had suffered a wrist injury that he's been dealing with all season that could require potential procedure after the season. So it's not just the knees, it's not just the ankles, it's not just the heel. It's everything, it seems like, on Kristaps Porzingis. And that is the ultimate concerning part. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Kristaps. KP is a real good guy, man. Real good with us as far as the media is concerned. Gives you real in-depth answers when you ask him a question. Very introspective guy. That doesn't matter when it comes to the ability to be available on the court to produce what Kristaps Porzingis is capable of. And we've heard throughout this season from Mark Cuban, from Rick Carlisle, from this entire organization, that when Kristaps Porzingis is frustrated when he is not allowed to play in games because of the amount of injury recovery that Casey Smith, the head athletic trainer for the Dallas Mavericks, wants to be able to see at times for Porzingis to be able to get him healthy. But it doesn't really matter if you can't stay healthy to get him to the playoffs, which ultimately that is the goal for the Mavericks. Get to the playoffs and get there healthy. And they say, Kevin, what's the approach then? Do you sit him out for the rest of the season to ensure that he's healthy by the time you get to the playoffs? Because right now you're sitting a half game up on the Portland Trail Blazers for the 6th seed, and you're just half a game behind the Los Angeles Lakers for the 5th seed, where if you were to get the 5th seed and the season were to end today, you will be playing the Denver Nuggets, and you already own the season series against the Los Angeles Lakers. So if you're able to climb past the Lakers, you're sitting pretty as far as the rest of the season is concerned. I don't know what the approach is, but somebody's got to figure it out, because the way that Kristaps Porzingis' inability to be available continues to hamper the Mavericks, especially when you think about the 5 wide open offense that they play, the heliocentric offense that they play, and the ability for Kristaps Porzingis to be a focal point in that offense, with Luka Doncic being able to create for everyone else. But Kristaps Porzingis not being available on the court to be a recipient of the creation of Luka Doncic. So what do you think? Let me know. I want you to jump in my comments, jump in the mentions. Tell me, Kevin, hey, this is what the Mavericks should do with respect to Kristaps Porzingis. Because look, I know you're frustrated. A lot of us are frustrated in talking about it. Rick Carlisle's over talking about Kristaps Porzingis' injury and the multitude of injuries that this team has been dealing with all season, to the point now where there's ultimate concern about whether or not he will remain a part of this franchise even after this season. Because there have been reports, obviously multiple reports and rumors, if you will, that the Dallas Mavericks were potentially shopping Kristaps Porzingis and may continue to do so once the season ends. Who knows? But his inability to stay available makes it very difficult to look at the long-term future of the Mavericks and Kristaps Porzingis and say he should be a part of it, given the fact that he can't stay on the court to be able to do so. And again, this is tough for me because I really like Porzingis. And the uniqueness of his game is unique to him and him alone, with his ability at 7'3" to do the kinds of things that he does. But it doesn't matter if he's not on the floor. So again, I ask you the question, what do the Mavericks do here? Do you move off of Kristaps Porzingis, or do you continue to give him another chance, especially with the rest of the season obviously still to go, with the final 10 games in which he will be missing against the Wizards, and who knows how much longer he may be out? Or do you say, Kevin, look, after this year, it's time to move on for Porzingis, because we cannot depend on his health and his ability to be healthy long-term to give us an idea of what this team will look like long-term, given the amount of holes that this team already has and some roster reconstruction that may need to take place at the end of this season. It's fair. But for a guy that averages over 20 points and 9 rebounds, it would be tough to see him go, given what he does produce when he is on the floor. And that's a guy that's a 7'3" unicorn that can do a lot of things that most folks can't do at that size. But at his size, his injuries continue to come back and haunt him. And now with a potential chronic issue in terms of his knee soreness, it just gets that much more difficult. I guess we'll find out. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. This has been another episode of The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.